Welcome to the Premier Property Weekly Q&A and welcome, like what I say. So it's Cam here from Premier Property and we're going to jump into questions as we usually do every single week. If you're joining me for the first time, that's exactly what we're doing right now. The first question is by Anna, and the question being asked is, should builders charge VAT on materials that they've provided, windows, doors, etc., and as they will anyway reclaim the VAT? Great question, Anna. Now, the thing is, when you're dealing with builders with VAT, what they will do is they will give you a whole encompassing invoice. Now, on there will be the VAT, and that, of course, is there. Includes the labour, includes the materials, and they will have their own import-output tax when it comes to VAT. So, in a nutshell, the answer is you look at the invoice and you pay the VAT on that invoice. Simple as that. Now, keep in mind that in many cases with new builds, there can be zero VAT, and with conversions, and it's got to be the right type of conversion, it can be 5% VAT. So sometimes what I found is, contractors are good at what they do, and sometimes you have to sort of inform them that they put the wrong VAT amount on there. So with conversions, that can be a difference of an extra 15%. So massive amount of money that you can actually save. Just want to be aware of to add an extra point in your question. So I hope that answers that one for you. We have, of course, as usual, our Premier Property community watching this right now. We've got Parish Patel there watching this, so brilliant that you're here. Nick's watching this as well. Feel free to give me a quick thumbs up or a smiley face or whatever you want. So feel free to engage, and if you've got any comments, I'd love to hear your comments. So let's now jump into the next question. The next question is by Ellen Erickson. So Ellen is saying a property was viewed, had some land next to it, and it belongs to the council, currently being used as allotments for a nearby council estate. How can we find out if there are plans to develop this plot of land in the near future? Thanks, says Ellen. Okay, so let's answer this one. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can smash that bell icon. If you're liking this, you're liking the energy, you're liking the answers, then feel free to just smash that bell icon to make sure you get the latest notification on if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're here on Facebook Live, then that's brilliant. So let's carry on and answer the questions. So Ellen, well, the thing is this: we calibrate areas, we calibrate the scenario of a potential for development between 1 and 10. 10 being great, perfect, you got it. 1 being no chance. So one of the things that you want to be doing is getting it to an 8 to 10. And 8 means you've got the opportunity for that to be working. And to answer your question, you're dealing with the council. So one of the things that you can be doing is actually contacting the council. And here's the thing, it's going to take you maybe 1 phone call or 2 or 3 to get to the right department. Now, each of the councils have their own fancy names, and they call them all different things, but they all do the same thing. And that is, you're finding the asset part of the part of the council that's dealing with the selling of assets. So you really want to find that team, and then it's about asking the question if it's up for sale. Are they looking at selling? What is their plan for that? That will be the starting point for this. And once you get a decision from that, you can then move that further on. Hope that makes sense, Ellen. So I love the fact that you're working with councils and you're looking at all of that as well. Really good. Next up, we have Shiri Khan. So Shiri is asking, need advice on the auction properties. There is a garage in auction next week, which does not have any planning permission. It's under transitional auction. It's transactional auction. What are the ways to negotiate with the vendor to lock down the price and get the agreement on exchange for subject to planning? Is this possible in the first instance? Is it better to talk to the auctioneer in this case? So Shirikan's got a few combinations and ways of thinking there. So Shirikan, here's the thing about auctions. Auctions aren't too flexible. However, they can be flexible. So let me explain what I mean by that. So before we actually look at properties at auction, we always have a chance at finding out if the seller wants to sell pre-auction. Now, if you're buying pre-auction, what we find is that at auction, at pre-auction buying, before it goes to the auction, there's a very slim chance, the probability of success. However, there is still a chance. So what we do at Premier Property is we will always ask if the price can be accepted. And any creative strategies like that, we will also ask right at the beginning before the auction. So one of the ways this can work is you pay the full price that they're asking for. So you've got a guide price, a reserve price. You kind of give them more money for it. You agree it, for the reason of that they are going to be doing a creative deal with you. Like I say, my personal experience is the very slim chance of that happening. However, you can ask. At the auction, there is no creative deals. It literally is the case of the gavel goes down, and whoever exchanges there, usually with 10%, that is the auction conditions basically. It's all auction conditions. So that's how that works. So not really creativity there. Unsold lots, we're at Premier Property, we're back in again. With unsold lots, what you'll find is you are able to actually then negotiate if the property hasn't sold. So, just keeping it truthful with you, again, a very slim chance of a creative deal at an auction. However, you can ask, and the key word here is ask. You just don't know, right? So when you ask at the auction, post-auction, you also have an opportunity for a creative deal. In my experience, usually the kind of creativity that we do is we'll say, right, we're gonna pay you a little bit less than the price that you're asking for. That tends to work really well. I haven't done options and lease options, all that kind of stuff at auctions because it doesn't tend to work. But you know what? I love for you to be the first person in our community to be doing that. So feel free to ask. Ask is the key word. So I hope that answers your question when it comes to creative deals at auctions. Shrikant, like the way you're thinking. Next up we have ads, and ads is asking, so what is ads asking? So when you are trying to determine the gross development value, or the GDV, of a property by using comparables, and there are two comparable properties within a quarter-mile radius, but one was sold for 650, another at 850, what figure do you use for calculations? How do you determine the potential value of the property? Ads, yes. Now this is the thing, isn't it? People talk about comparables in a quarter-mile radius, and here's my experience. You want to be closer. You really want to be in the realms of streets that are around the property that you're assessing. And what we do at Premier Property, we assess 5 streets around that quarter-mile radius. Now you might be wondering, well, how the heck do you do that? Well, on Rightmove, there is actually a place for you to check sold prices where it actually gives you a visual map. And what the visual map allows you to do, and not a lot of people use this in this way, you can actually look at that visual map, you can have a look at it, and you can actually find out, you can actually move your cursor around and actually find out 5 streets that are around there with comparables. So you can actually visually see where the comparables are. Now that is brilliant, because what the valuer is going to be doing is something very similar. So you can really do that. So have a go at that one, try that one, test it out, and you will be pleasantly surprised that you are getting close comparables. So hope that answers your question there, ads. Have a go at that one. And of course, if you've got any further questions, you can always add in for the following week. So I'm doing these every week. If you're joining us for the first time, and if you're on YouTube, if you're enjoying this, then you can subscribe and click on the bell icon, and we'll make sure that you get the notification early on for the following week. And I say this, in most videos, but I would love to hear from you your comments. So any questions that you have, any comments that you have, feel free to join in, engage with us, and I will do my best to answer your questions, just using my humble experience over the last 29 years, being a property investor and a property developer. This is why we're doing this, aren't we? Okay, so next up we have a question from Cecilia. So Cecilia is another one of our Premier Property community in our Premier Property Inner Circle, and the lady is on it. Using pensions, she's asking, to buy properties, does it need to be from a SAS or a SIP? Can other pensions be transferred to these as well? Cecilia, great question there again. Now, the thing is, I'm not a tax advisor, so I'm not going to advise you on tax, but here's what we're doing. So, personally, I've done this. So you can move a personal pension into a SIP or a SAS. So I personally have a SIP, and what the SIP does is it buys commercial property. So you can put money into that, and that's how we're doing it. So you can, of course, do this in the same way. So hope I'm answering your question correctly. So yeah, so pensions can buy property, and the commercial pension, that can actually buy property. So so exactly what I'm doing. So I'm actually looking at an office right now, which we're looking to buy with the pension. So that means that the income within the pension, in a nutshell, there is no tax on it because your pension is a separate entity and there is no tax on there. But please do get advice from a tax expert. In our community, we have Herschel. Herschel's one of our mentors at Premier Property, so he knows loads about tax. The man's got 30 odd years of experience in tax. So Cecilia, you can always check in with him. But hope that makes sense. That's how we do it. That's how you can use pensions for your property building. Loving the question. And quick, short and sharp today. Next question I've got here is from Alex. And Alex Phillip is asking the question of, hi Cam, when assessing potential development opportunities for the build cost estimate, what is that pound per square meter? What kind of values do you use? So Alex, here are 3 specifics that you can use. And if you're watching this and you're working, you're wondering, how the heck do you get your numbers right? Well, it's all about, really thinking about the quick numbers, the fast numbers. So I'm going to share with you how we do it at Premier Property. So, I'd love you to leave a comment. I'd love you to join us next week if you're getting value from this. I know I'm speaking quite fast. Feel free to just listen to this back again. And I'm happy to answer your questions. Click on the bell icon, and also you can subscribe. I said that a few times. You got it there right now. You can do this right now, actually. So Alex, we have 3 key numbers I'm going to share with you. The first one is £2,000 per square meter. Now at Premier Property, we use £2,000 square meter as the first level due diligence. The £2,000 per square meter encompasses any reports that you need to do, any various digs that you have to do, any trial holes, any fees, all really incorporated. When I say any fees, I mean any fees to do with the project, architectural fees, report fees, structural engineering fees, all of that kind of stuff is all in there. So a £2,000 a square meter means that you are really safe and moving fast and you got the numbers right. That's £2,000 square meter. When we're doing conversions, we normally work from £1,200 a square meter for conversions. You should be in that ballpark number there for conversions. However, you do need to be aware of things like, where, you've got quirky situations such as properties with asbestos. For example, properties being sold off by the NHS or retirement homes and things like that. You'll find there's quite a lot of asbestos in those actually. So you've got to factor in numbers for that. So the third number I want to share with you is another extra level of due diligence in there. So that number is £1,600 a square meter. So you got your 2,000 square meter for new builds, not just the development as I've explained, the whole thing, the whole encompassing costs, £2,000 square meter. You got 1,200 for your conversions, and if it's a quirky conversion, then 1,600 a square meter will really help you as your first level. This is first level due diligence, making sure that what you got in front of you is correct, it's right for you, and you're getting it right first time. Hope you enjoyed this short, sharp session. It's Kam Dovedi at Premier Property, helping you to help yourself to take your property investing to the next level. I'll see you in the next video this time next week. See you soon.